Hello everyone! Greetings from Magdeburg, Germany, Deutschland. My name is Svetlana Mucha and I'm the leading matchmaker and dating coach at Diolli.com. And in this video I want to bring up a very tricky topic. I want to talk about dating someone who is always late, or what to do if you are always late. Well, for a good reason sometimes for the dates. So let's discuss it. Like always, I will start with a story. Not so long ago, we have introduced our male client to a lady, a Ukrainian lady who currently lives in London, UK, and they were supposed to have their first video date, first Zoom date. So basically, he has called her. After our introduction, they talked on phone and they have discussed when, at what time they will actually talk on Zoom. After that, they have exchanged a few texts, so they were not like really acquainted yet, and everything seemed to be really well because the lady really liked the photos of the gentleman and the information we have shared with her about him, and the gentleman, he really liked her photos and the information that we have shared with him about her. And after talking to her on phone, he really liked her English and this light accent, the mix of British accent and Ukrainian accent. So we all were looking forward to their Zoom date. But unfortunately, on the day when they were supposed to have their Zoom date, the lady has mixed up the trains, and she got on the wrong train in the wrong direction, and she hasn't noticed it at once. And when she has realized that she's on the wrong line, she understood that she wouldn't be able to make it on time. She texted the gentleman that unfortunately she was running late, and she has asked him to start their Zoom date like 15 minutes later. The gentleman has texted her okay, but again, she was new to the city, so it took her longer, not just 15 minutes, like 25 minutes to get back to her apartment and to start the Zoom call. And instead of actually jumping into the Zoom call and trying to get to know each other better, the gentleman was scolding her like for 15 minutes that she was late, or he was like scolding her, giving her a lecture that you can't be late, I was waiting for you like for 25 minutes and it's not nice. So you're not serious about me, you're just a player, and blah blah blah. And of course nobody likes being scolded by a stranger, and they were still strangers. It was their first date, and it didn't go any further. The lady was disappointed, and she later told to our psychologist that the gentleman is strange. Yes, I was late, but he was so angry. Like, I didn't do anything that bad to make him that angry. And the gentleman was very upset, and he has told us that she was not serious. You have introduced me to a not very serious girl, and she was late, and blah blah blah. Well, I get it. Nobody likes waiting, and it's not good to be late. And personally, when I run late, I feel very bad. Well, I guess all of us have been late, and sometimes you can do nothing about it. Actually, on my way here to Magdeburg from Köln, Germany, I was really surprised when the train arrived on the train station in time. So I have boarded the train, and I put my suitcase, took off my coat, and got my place. And then I see that the train is not going. So I was wondering what is wrong, why we are not starting to move. And then they make these announcements that unfortunately we have to wait because they had an accident, and we ended up running like 20 minutes late. And sometimes things happen. Sometimes buses are late, trains are late, planes are late, or the navigation can take you to the wrong place. The navigation can show you the road that is currently closed. So things happen. And of course, it's hard to date a person who always runs late. But to scold someone that she was like 15 or 20 minutes late, that's not the best start. I get it. Our client, the gentleman, he was excited to meet her, and when you're excited, when you want something to happen, and you sit there, you wait, and things don't go according to your plan, you kind of feel deceived and disappointed. But again, it comes up to your attitude. If you manage to get a grip of yourself, get a hold of yourself, and to actually start the date and let the other person apologize and share with you a story what has happened, they could have laughed about it. You know, like taking the wrong train, he could have shared a similar story when he was late, and they could have an enjoyable date, but unfortunately, it never happened. Several times running late has ruined the chances of two people, our clients, to actually get to know each other. And sometimes it could have been just 10 minutes. For example, the lady was 10 minutes late. The taxi driver has taken her to the wrong spot, or she has mixed up the restaurant, or she was doing her hair and the hairdresser was very slow on that day. Or, for example, she couldn't leave her work early as she has planned, but she has appointment at the hairdresser, so she ran late there. And okay, she has arrived on the date. She is beautiful. She is excited to see you. So you can start the date from this very point, and you can try to ignore these 10 minutes because, well, things happen. Or you can be very sore, you can be in this full mood the whole day, and you will ruin your chances to get to know the lady. You will ruin all the romantic vibes. At Diolli.com, only once I have been in a situation when we actually had to say no to a client and to cancel our agreement. Well, and the reason was like the fact that I was 3 minutes late. We were supposed to have a consultation and my previous call ran longer, and the gentleman has waited for me for 3 minutes. And he was so angry with me, like literally he has shouted, scolded me, and then he has written several nasty emails that I'm not professional and I was 3 minutes late and he is a client and blah blah blah. At first we tried to reason him because you know what, sometimes we all have a bad day, and sometimes we are angry not with the person in front of us, but with numerous circumstances that got us to this point. But the gentleman, he didn't even plan to slow down, and he felt okay, but moused at me, the business, etc. And of course we had to say no to working with him, because just imagine a scenario. He is having a date with our female member, we are scheduling the date for them, and the lady is 3 minutes late, and what next? He would have scolded her like for an hour, calling her nasty words, and of course this lady would tell all her friends that all our clients are nutcases and that you shouldn't join Diolli.com database. So of course we had to say no to him. So guys, running late, unfortunately it happens, and in this situation it is up to you to either ruin this date further by scolding the lady for running late, for being late, for making you wait, or to give this date a chance, to give yourself a chance to get to know each other better. And the sign came out, so we had to slightly change the location. Anyway, I wanted to share two more stories with you really quickly about running late. I once have been working with a lady and she was late all the time, and literally she was like 30-40 minutes late. So let's say we schedule our meeting for 3 p.m. and she shows up at approximately 4 p.m. and we have sort of a way to trick her. We were scheduling the meeting, for example, for 3 p.m. and I was telling her that it was 2:30. Then more or less she would come up in time for the meeting. But this lady, she is this very artistic, very creative person, and luckily we have married her off, and she is married to this gentleman from France, our ex-client, and he is also very creative, very artistic, so things worked really well for them. Once I have been working with a gentleman and we have scheduled a date for him and our female client, and unfortunately, the lady ran like 10 or 15 minutes late. She got stuck in traffic and she apologized many times for it. And the gentleman told her that if you were my employee, I would fire you for that. And of course, it didn't add any romantic vibes to the date, and it was their first and last date. So guys, You can be your boss's self in your office. You can really scold your employees for running late. But when you go out on a date, yes, it's not nice to wait. It's not nice to keep somebody waiting for you. But things happen, and again, everything depends on your attitude. You can either play it cool and start the date from the moment she has arrived on the date, and of course if she has apologized, and you can laugh about it later, like sharing the story that your fiancé has run 15 minutes late for your first date, but you have waited for her and blah blah blah. It can be a very romantic story, but again, everything depends on your attitude. I want to wish you only romantic dates, and I hope that your dates, a very special lady who will end up becoming your girlfriend, your fiancé, your wife, will never keep you waiting too long. And I will see you in the next video. Svetlana Mucha, especially for Diolli.com from Magdeburg, Germany, Deutschland.